Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. This is the video introduction to the upcoming webinar that we're going to be putting on once a week. We're titling this webinar Self-Realization and Permanent Recovery. These are two key concepts for me after working in this field for so long that I think it's important to introduce them. It's important to get people to pay attention to them. It's important to get as many people as possible to adopt these concepts in the foundation of their understanding of all things addiction. And I'll be explaining over the course of weeks what I really mean by self-realization and what I really mean by permanent recovery. We're going to cover a whole lot of topics. It's going to be in inimitable Lucan style, whatever the hell that is. Always a little bit of humor. But the sincerity about the importance of this mission and delivered with love. I think as I look back on my career of providing care to people struggling with addiction, I always felt somehow it was important, it was fundamental to have love be out front, to have love be the surround for the community, for the clients, for the staff. I have to talk about permanent recovery because I've seen it. I've supported its happening. I have some idea about how it actually works, how it takes place. And so that's part of the reason why I have to do this now. The second volume of the Addiction and Emotion series has been published. Pick it up on Amazon. And it's now time for me to take everything that I've gathered in terms of my cumulative experience, my construction, and now my confidence in the comprehensiveness of my theory about motivation, which I apply to addiction and recovery. The timing is just so right now for this webinar. The COVID situation, in addition, kind of giving it a little extra urgency in terms of how timely. So I'm going to invite you all to come be with me once a week. We are going to tape record all of these, so if you're interested in them and the timing of our presentation live doesn't work, then we're going to be making them available for purchase or not if it's the free one. I'll tell you more about that in an archive, so you'll be able to go by title and date and stuff. We are going to give one of these free each month. We're going to make it a non-redundant kind of introduction to the concept, so don't think if you've heard me once or twice that the next time you hear something that sounds similar in title and content that you won't learn something new, because the people that have worked with me recognize none of my stuff is canned, and you will hear me say different things about every topic every time I speak about it, in part because I don't remember what I said before. I'm kidding, but this is not scripted, this is not rehearsed. I don't draw, lines from the book, although, you may see me at some point for the sake of educating and not making a point. I might actually do that, but then you'll know I'm doing it because I'll do it right in front of you. I tend to go into these things with a, rough PowerPoint, a list of bullet points to cover, and it's kind of like I just know this stuff inside out, so I don't have to take all those notes or whatnot, and it keeps it sort of fresh and alive each time I talk about it. It's kind of like a musician that always, messes with the chords during parts of the song. So 1 will be free and 3 will be pay, and we're charging $50 at this point. We're looking to have this revenue, actually we want the revenue to be kind of sizable, and if you think about it, it could end up being sizable. But this is part of our pay it forward model because there's a lot of other things we want to do, including provide coaching, one-on-one coaching. And for us, the whole coaching thing is kind of a losing venture in terms of profit and cost. Because we're only going to have really good coaches. We're going to look to pay them well, which means they're going to take almost 100% of what it is that we take in. And then in order to put on that operation, we may actually be in the red of it. But we need to make that available for people because we know how important it is. This stuff is stimulating, this stuff will help move you, this stuff will help educate you. And then to be able to access the coaching, this is where you're going to be able to fine tune what you're understanding and put it into real practice and ask your real questions. One of the things I'm excited about is given the platform that we're working with, we're going to be in a position to have me interact with 1,000 people at a time over the webinar. But at any given point in time, at some points in time, I'm going to invite people to, but if you're moved at any given point in time to try to initiate this, you could raise your hand there, so to speak, whatever that mechanism is that you have to raise your hand. The moderator will interact with you even while this is going on. So just be having a little side conversation between you and the moderator. Maybe it'll be chat, maybe it'll be directly voiced, but what you can do is volunteer to step forward, be on the screen with me, and I'll interact with you live. So sometimes I might plan that ahead of time, and we'll handpick people and invite them, and all the privacy issues and everything else that are meaningful to you will be taken into considerations, including I could interact with you without your face being shown or your identity being specifically stated. So that part's exciting because you can see in what others are doing and experiencing a lot of stuff that applies to yourself. So I'm pretty excited about that. We don't yet have a list of all the weekly titles. I am working on a general scheme that I can share, where the first week will be introductory, first week of the month. The second one will be about a specific topic, a new one each month. Like dealing with cravings and preventing relapse. Dealing with loved ones and they're still upset and holding grudges, stuff like that. What is enlightenment and how does that apply? Escapism 101. And if you know me, you know that even as I speak about addiction, a lot of times I'm not talking about what drug you use or how often you use it or the comings and goings of some of the secondary fallout side effects from your addiction. The story and the drug-focused or the substance-focused conversation, I'm talking about the motivational template for all this that lies underneath it. So if you know me, that's what I'm going to be addressing primarily. And so that next week will be about some specific concepts related to the physics of emotioning as they apply. So it's going to be pretty theoretical. So we got one where it's a little more focused on addiction, one where it's theoretical. And then the fourth one, that's where I'd like to make some of this interactive, and we're going to do some live interactions with people, or maybe even videotape some and present the video and have me talk about it. So that we're introducing a set of concepts, and then in one of the weeks we're actually trying to bring them home for people. You get to see it live and in action. So we'll get you that kind of description, and we'll get you a list of the weekly topics as we create them. So I'm not sure, we won't give you 3 months ahead of time or 1 month ahead of time, or even just 1 week ahead of time what the actual topics might be. But we'll figure that out. We are going to interact. We're going to ask for some feedback. We're going to try and do more of what you think is valuable and less of what you think is a waste of time. And I'm not a big time waster, so it's going to be just more about what you actually find most valuable. Then, other than that, Holly and some other people on the team may have something to say. But I'm just excited about this, and I appreciate the fan base that already exists. And as you know, I mean, if you find this stuff valuable, the thing to do is try to get it in front of more people. And so keep in mind that free one each month, because your friends and whatnot, and even if they're not actively addicted, but they're really concerned about learning about escapism themselves, because they never actually got addicted, but they're minor league escapists. They're not professionals like addicts tend to be, and so they may be interested and they can learn. And anybody that's got a loved one who's an addict, they also could be interested. So even though the primary population we're talking to are those in recovery, since it is a webinar, it's not like them being in the room is going to disturb your process. So we're trying to reach as many people as possible. So think of the first meeting as kind of a big tent meeting. COVID time, tell them to watch on their own computer, don't come over your house. Or if they're in your safe group, invite them onto the sofa. I think that's it for now. So I look forward to seeing you all in the coming weeks and months.